I love my creepy music. Oh, it's so good and creepy. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ghost Stories with Anjelah. I am your host, Anjelah. Today, you guys, is not only Ghost Stories with Anjelah, but it is National Tequila Day. Did I do a heavy pour? Kind of. It was an accident. Cheers, everyone, to some good ghost stories tonight. Shall we? Okay. I think I want to get rid of that ice. Actually, don't judge me, everyone. I'm going to get rid of that ice because I don't want it to water down my tequila. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining. So here's the thing. Last time we did Ghost Stories with Anjelah. It was so fun, so cool. I really enjoyed it. You guys really enjoyed it. So we're doing it again. And Joe Coy kicked off my first episode with his crazy, creepy story of the haunted Airbnb that he stayed in Hawaii. Insane story. It was nuts. And then I took a couple calls from you guys and you shared your stories that were also very crazy. So tonight I have my friend Gabrielle is going to join us and share some stories from her childhood. I'm going to take some calls from you guys who left comments. These are my rules. This is how it goes down. 1, if I pick you to come on and tell your story, cut the fat. Give me just the good details. We don't need all the little details. We gotta make it tight. You know what I mean? Like, if this story happened when you were 8 years old, or maybe it was 9 years old. Maybe it was 8.5. I was either 8.5 or 9. Let me see, my older sister, she's 3 years older than me, so 3, 12. I might have been 10, actually. I don't need none of that. Just make a decision. Make it 8, and guess what? We believe you. We weren't there. We believe you. Just pick an age and we'll go with you. Okay? So cut the fat, cut the details. Rule number 2, if you request to be in my live and I pick you and you don't have a ghost story, I'm gonna hang up on you. And you're like, oh, I just came to give a shout out. No, that's not the radio station. Okay? Click. Bye. No, you don't do no shout outs. I need you to have a real good ghost story to contribute if you're gonna be requesting to get on my live. Okay? And then the last one is if you are on here watching, hanging out with us, leave me some comments. Tell me what you're thinking, feeling, all the things. Okay, Bonzo's there too. And that's pretty much it. We're gonna get started. I have my dog, my tequila. You guys, I have Erica back with me again.
Happy Friday, guys.
Erica is like my spiritual security guard. She has a lot of experience in the like supernatural, spiritual realm. So like, if I gotta get in like a demon fight, then that's when Erica comes in and is like boom, 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 and like uppercut with it in Jesus' name, ha, and then gone. That's how it works, right?
Pretty much. That's what I'm here for. Happy Friday.
Yeah, so that's how it's gonna go down. What's up, everybody? Everybody's joining in. Great. We got Kev in a building. A1A Exterminator is how we do it. All right, let's do this. We're gonna go with our first guest, special guest tonight, my friend Gabrielle. Let me find you, girl. I don't see you, girl. Are you in here? It does not say your name. Okay, hold on. Hey, everyone. Let me give her a little text. Make sure she's here. She is on? I don't see it. I typed her name. It didn't come up. G-A-B. No, it's not coming up. Gabrielle, exit out of requesting me and then request me again. Like, get out of the live and then join the live again. Because it's not coming up. I don't see you. That's the thing about going live, you guys. You never know what's gonna happen. Okay? Okay, so we may go on to our next caller. Oh, let me get the lineup for tonight. For those of you waiting, because I know last time I told a few of you I was going to take you on, and then Joe Coy gave us the long version of his story and took up all of your times. So the order for tonight is going to go Gabrielle, if she's able to get on. If not, we'll go to the next person. After that is Giselle. My girl Giselle is going to tell us about the time she stayed in a hotel in France and it was muy haunted. And then Ashie Rose, Ashie Rose, stayed in Ohio State Reformatory. And then Miss Javi, Javi, worked at a funeral home built in 1950. And she's going to tell us some stories too. Okay, so I'm going to check for her one more time, and then if not, we're moving on to the next person. Let's see here. Okay, don't see her, so moving on to the next person. You are up, Giselle. You better be in here, girl. Ready? I don't see her either. Moving on to the next person. Listen, you gotta be ready. Ashie Rose. Girl, if you ain't in here. A-S-H. Nope, not here either. Moving on to the next person. Tell Jackie to get ready to send me more names because nobody's in here. Okay, Miss Javi, let's go with you. M-I-S-S. Okay, maybe my Instagram's not working because none of these names are coming up. Okay. A-N-T Anton Teclari played with a Ouija board at a church camp. That's a really great story that I for sure want to hear about. Playing a Ouija board at church camp. First of all, who brought that Ouija board to the church camp? How'd you get it in? Do they not check y'all's bags? Okay, let me look for that girl. Sorry guys, that's, again, we're going live, you never know what's gonna happen. A-N-T, how do you spell that name? A-N-T-I-N. I-N. Oh my god, you guys, none of my guests are alive. If I called your name and you're here, but I just don't see your name, can you leave me a comment and say, I'm here, I don't know why it's not coming up? Could be because we're talking about ghost stuff. Let's see. Ashie Rose said she sent you a request. Okay. I don't see you, girl.
Try J-E-F-S Journey. J-E-F-F-S.
Jeff's Journey?
He stayed in a haunted hotel and had the whole thing.
Okay. Let's talk to Jeff's Journey, because none of my other guests are here. Jeff! Here, story number 1. Hello!
Anjelah, what, you don't know who I am?
How are you?
Pretty like you're surprised. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, I stayed in a haunted hotel in Kewanee, Wisconsin. That was just like completely bizarre. I never really believed in ghosts.
Okay, did you know it was haunted before you stayed there?
I did know it was haunted, and I read some things up about it, but unfortunately I was doing a trade show in the agricultural industry that wasn't far away, and it was just the closest hotel. And when I got to the town itself, this little town was a ghost town. But I had no choice. I had to stay there. And like the first few days, I didn't see anybody in the hotel. Then one night I come back from the show I was exhibiting at, and then I see these people sitting outside. Like, you know, the first people I had seen at the hotel after 3 days. And I see them sitting outside having some drinks. So I just wanted to sit outside, get some air before I went up to my little room. And so they, you know, we start talking, and then I brought it up. I said, hey, did y'all know that this hotel was haunted? And they said, yeah, you know, but big deal, this and that. But something weird did happen. And I'm like, what's that? They had an old post office across the street. That had 1 million seagulls on it. So the guy said the night before they were like, like playing around with the seagulls and like, taunting them. And the next day they woke up and the guy's car was covered in crap. Like
that could just be karma.
Well, it could be karma, but then when he told me the story, I was like, yeah, whatever. And there was like one good restaurant in the town that I was eating at 2 blocks away. So they had in the lobby this book about the whole story of the haunted hotel.
Okay.
So I scoped this whole thing at the time, Anjelah. I scoped this whole event that happened to me. And I said to my followers, I said, I'm going to share this out. Before I leave this hotel, I'm going to read this story to you guys one night. So it was my last night there, and I said, all right, tonight's the night. I'm going to read this story. I went out to this nice restaurant a couple of blocks away, had a good dinner, went back to my room, had a beer, brought it downstairs. There was the book inside the inside of the hotel, but I was sitting outside. And I said, all right, I'm going to have my beer and this and that, and I'm going to start to read this story. So I go get the book, and I had my phone charger with me that I can scope and broadcast for like 4 days straight. I had my plug to plug into the wall for my charger wires. So I'm sitting outside and I open up the thing of the book and my phone's plugged in and this and that. And I start to like read the story and everybody's putting up all these weird comments to freak me out and scare me and all this. And my phone starts depleting in energy, even though my phone is plugged in. So I'm like, this is weird. I'm like, maybe this is my battery charger. And it's like, and everyone's like, that's the first sign, like you're being, haunted, is like the ghosts mess around with your energy and blah, blah, blah. And again, there's like tons of birds across the street and they're not making any noise or anything. Like, it's just bizarre. There's hundreds and hundreds of gulls across the street, but they're not making any noise at all the whole time I'm reading the story. Before they were, but as soon as I start reading the story, they all shut up. It was like really freaky, man. It was one of those really old hotels, creaky wood floors, and I was staying on the same floor that across the hall was the haunted room. Anyways, so I start reading the story, and my phone starts depleting in energy. So I said, all right, maybe it's my external battery charger. So I take it out, I plug it right into the wall, right into like an outlet from the hotel outside. Same thing, my phone's not charging. So I'm freaking out. I start to read the story. Then I start to get freaked out. And I don't know what's happening. And like, everybody's starting to scare me. And like, I don't know why my phone's not charging. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get up and go for a walk. Like right about a block away from the hotel was the ocean or the lake or I don't know, in Wisconsin there. So I get up. My phone, I'm still scoping at the time. I don't know how many people are watching or not because I couldn't tell what the freak's going on. I walk out the creaky front door of the hotel. As soon as I walk out the hotel, these birds start going freaking bananas. Banana! They start like going nuts. And this and that. And all of a sudden my scope dies. My broadcast dies. So I'm like, okay, hello. All I saw was a black screen kind of like flashing. And I'm like, hello, anybody there? And I'm like freaking out. And all of a sudden the birds, they fly off the roof of this post office and they start circling over my freaking head. I'm like freaking out. Like I didn't hear them all night. And you could hear them, boy. The town was dead.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear them, nothing. And then all of a sudden they're like all around me, flying over my head. I'm worried they're going to poo on me. Like, I don't know what's going on. I walked about half a block away. And they're like following me like a black cloud. I was freaked out. I go back to the hotel and I go, okay, something's weird here. And then I realized I thought I was still scoping. I realized it was dead. So I go up to my room. I plug in my phone. Nothing's charging, whatever. I had about 30-40% left on my phone. I'm trying to do a scope and I'm putting in the little icon. I'm looking up at you and it looks funny because I should be looking straight here. I try to put a little icon of the little ghost.
Uh-huh.
Like, the icon, the ghost icon.
Yeah.
Like, hello, everybody, I'm alive, but I'm freaked out with a little ghost. Whenever I tried to go live, it said, connection not available. Connection not available. I tried like 10 times, 15 minutes. I was trying to go live with a little ghost icon. It wouldn't let me go live. As soon as I took that icon out, and I pushed the button, go live. In a second, I was live.
Because he thought you was taunting him again.
Huh?
That he thought you were taunting him.
Yeah,
That's
I guess.
what it was.
Well, the ghost name was, what was the ghost name again? It was, oh my God, it was, because everybody kept saying, don't mess with her. It was a girl. The whole story of this hotel was the hotel was owned by an old man, and there was a roommate there, and I don't remember the whole story, but yeah, I guess I was taunting her, but that started, I had a flight the next morning at 6, 7 in the morning. This was now 2, 3 in the morning. And I said, okay, like I went live, and everybody, Jeff, are you okay? Get the F out of there. Get the F out of there. And I say, you don't know what's been happening, because I disappeared for like 20 minutes.
Jeff, listen, I hate to cut you off in this
I know.
story.
You got other
Gabrielle's on, my special guest. She made it on. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Please don't ever stay in that hotel again. Or if you do video camera, something. I don't know what. We're going to need to see this on video.
Thanks for having me.
Bye. Thank y'all for staying on with me. So my people are here now. Giselle, you're gonna be after Gabrielle. Gabrielle's going first, and then Giselle. Here we go. Can you keep a timer when it gets to 5 minutes to life? We gotta keep this tight. You know what I mean? Hey, girl.
Girl, I'm here.
What happened?
What happened? I thought we said 7. A ghost told me 7.
A ghost lied to you.
The ghost came into my ear and it was like 7 o'clock. You ready for my stories? Is everybody ready for my stories?
Tell us.
Wait a minute. First of all, you look very pretty.
Thank you. I did
like
makeup.
You got the ears on and everything.
I did. Okay. I was like, listen, I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. If I do go somewhere, I still don't put makeup on. Like if I go to the grocery store. So I was like, you know what? Instagram Live. It's Friday night. Let's do it.
TGIF.
Let's do it.
I
Let's
worked
do
out
it.
today, so I'm
So,
very proud.
Tell everyone. Okay, you're gonna tell us a story from your childhood. All right. For those who don't know, Gabrielle, very talented actress, performer, just crazy ex-girlfriend. We audition against each other.
Yes, it was like the most favorite moment of like getting to know Hollywood, and I'm so lucky that I got to know you and Camille. Like it was just so nice. My first like big pilot season, we were literally like pitted against each other like for a role, but we had so much fun in that moment.
Yeah, we're some of the best, so
it's true.
But tell everybody, let's jump into your story. This is back in your childhood. Give it a go. Action.
Okay, but like I'm from Texas, and in the summers, my parents would summer in West Texas near Lubbock, and we were living in Muleshoe, Texas. And my parents basically bought, my family bought a house because we would be there for the summer because they owned a produce company. And we would harvest there in the summer into the fall. So the house that we purchased, when they finally met the neighbors, one of the neighbors was like, wow, so you bought the house from a witch. Cool. And we were like, what? And we didn't realize that every family member experienced, my dad is one of 5 and he's the youngest. So like the oldest, my Aunt Linda, she lived there first. And she basically said that everyone experienced some things. Anyone that was a Ruize experienced something in the house and the 2 houses that were built on the property. So some of the stories here are the highlights because there's a lot. We basically lived on not only a haunted house, but a haunted property. And the original house, the neighbors claimed that there were fireworks happening inside the house, like lit. Okay, I just watched The Poltergeist from like 1989.
Great movie.
The part where the fireworks are like blaring in the house and he runs in, that's exactly what they described. And when I was there, I remember that every time we would arrive for the summer, there were children footsteps like running on the ceiling and on the roof of the house. And so we would just hear like kids like running and running and running. And my parents would just always claim that they were kids, don't worry about it. But it was an agreement to like run outside and try to confirm that it was a ghost. But it always was. And then I was
Wait, so your parents were like, it's kids, don't worry about it.
don't
and
worry
you're like,
about it.
we accept that there's children that got up on the roof.
Well, just
And
like, you
was
know,
just
some like, you know, kiddos like just having a nice summer and they're just being jerks.
Yeah.
And I just remember like, I maybe might have been like like 9 or 10 and been like, okay, and just like accepted what my parents said. Right?
Yeah, sure.
And like, here we
there
are in
parents.
therapy
Why
at
would
30.
we not believe them? Santa Claus is real. Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy,
Sure.
kids on the roof of the house.
Sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Got it. Go
And
ahead.
so I remember that distinctly. And then my Aunt Linda, the first person that lived there, she found the cellar of the house. So in Texas or in Oklahoma, like people have cellars for tornadoes and stuff, right? So you have to like hide and like live under there when the tornado comes. They found like leather bound books. They found all these tools and stuff. And not only did they not deal with it, they just cemented the entire backyard and the cellar. So as a kid, they're like, this is how we deal with it. We're just
Nobody go in here.
Just get some cement. And they just said, let's not deal with it. Let's just like, you know, seal it down. And so as a kid, maybe like 5 or 8 years later, I would rollerblade and bicycle on that backyard on the pentagram.
Like, okay. Some ghosts can walk through buildings. I'm sure
And
they
cement.
can like, come up through cement. Mom. Dang. So you're riding your bike, all innocent like, on a pentagram.
Yeah.
Ooh, girl. Oh, I just had a visual of you accidentally like tracing it with your bike, not even knowing what you're doing. What if you did?
What if I made a star and I didn't even know it? Yeah. I might have.
Girl.
I might have. Because I'm 35 right now in my life. And I remember maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I finally just like had this conversation with my mom. I don't know if you've had those conversations. You're like, by the way, when I was a kid, what happened?
Mine were more like, by the way, when I was a kid, I did this.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. And I just was like, what happened in Muleshoe, Texas? The town's Muleshoe. And I said, she was like, my mom just started like, just kind of like dumping all this information on me. And I was like, what? My Aunt Dahlia, who is number 3 out of the 5, she would get shoved in the shower all the time. Mm-hmm.
Like, she would be like, whatever.
Washing her hair and just would literally lose her balance and feel like a person was shoving her. And my mom would ask my Aunt Dahlia, she was like, what did you do? And this is like current times, like, so I got shoved in the shower last night. Oh, okay. So what did you do? And my Aunt Dahlia was like, well, I just shoved back.
Just pushing the air. Get away.
Like literally like
Push you.
not letting someone push them. Like if somebody is shoving you maybe for like the 6th time or the 7th time, you'd be like, you know what? Fuck this.
Could you imagine?
Do you mind?
I would be, if I felt pushed in the shower, I'd just be like, all the air like with vicious.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I don't feel it, but I hope I'm getting you.
Exactly. And she was just like, and the thing about it, the craziest thing about it, Anjelah, is like the entire Ruize family, as like good Christian folk that we are, like Mexicano, Christian Catholic people, everyone treated it normally. And I told my mom, the biggest question I had for my mom was like, why didn't we leave? Why didn't we sell the property? And she was like, well, nothing ever happened to you. And I was like, you know, funny you mention it. Now something makes sense.
Tell me.
My mom's voice lowered and got cold on the phone, and she was like, what happened? Cut, just so you guys remember, this was 5 years ago. What happened? And I said to her, I was like, because I remember having this physically vivid, like I could feel it in my body, like meriendas, like those dreams that you have where you can't wake up, right? And yeah, you know, you just can't, you know it's a dream, you can't wake up. And she was like, I said, I remember getting lifted out of my bed, looking at my bed in my childhood room in Muleshoe, seeing the rooftop of all 3 properties.
Can you say Muleshoe like a few more times? Just say Muleshoe. It's real funny.
Muleshoe, Texas. Muleshoe. And so when I was in Muleshoe, Texas, I remember that we would be lifted out of the bed in Muleshoe and then saw the rooftops of Muleshoe's house. And then I would float around and then just be delicately lifted down into my bed in Muleshoe.
So,
and my mom was like, what? Major regrets.
when you were lifted up, was it like you were awake and like scared, like, ah, what is this? Or were you like, whoa, like, what are you?
Yeah, I was more of the latter. I was more the second, like, okay, like it, but also it's like those dreams of flying. And maybe that's where I learned that I always wanted to fly. Maybe it's from like the bruja in West
The bruja
Texas.
got you to dream big, girl. That
yeah,
bruja
she told me
was
to dream
like,
big.
fly, girl. You are so talented. Just fly, honey.
Fly. Yeah, she was like, you can fly. You can just spread your wings and become a butterfly, you know? And I was just, and I liked it. It was peaceful. It was never scary. And I feel like kids, again, like, you know, the poltergeist for the kids, like, they're here, you know, you're just like innocent to it. And I think that's why they communicate with children more often.
Yes. I've been getting a lot of children's stories in the DMs and the comment section of like, oh, my niece saw this or my nephew saw this, like kids being super aware of the spirit realm.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, and like that's the only thing that was recurring for me. I didn't witness any. I remember hearing the running of the children thing, but I don't remember anything else. All the other stories, like my grandfather witnessed La Lechuza, which is the owl legend where witches like embody an animal, which is usually an owl, and they terrorize sometimes automobiles or families and stuff. And my grandfather would park behind underneath like the main tree in the front, and he would get terrorized by a humongous owl that my mother witnessed many times.
She would see the owl attack.
La Lechuza, yeah. And like all the housekeepers and like the ladies that would help, not all, like we didn't have like 10 or anything, but like one of the ladies that was there in rotation, she'd be like, La Lechuza, like they knew. They fucking knew.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Girl, those are some crazy stories.
It's crazy. And it's also like, you know, the fact that I just recognized it with my mom is like my favorite part of the whole story. Like we finally talked about it, and she just was like, I never told you. No, I never told you. I was like, no, you never told me.
I didn't tell you.
No, I mean, she's like, nothing's happened.
I didn't tell you there was like pentagram. We saw it. It was
pentagram and owls.
Left from a sacrifice. I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
We were not tell you.
So ghost stories are also something you go to therapy about, and you realize that you need to talk to your parents about it later in your life.
Wowzers.
Keep moving on.
Those are some really great stories. Thank you so much for joining me tonight and telling everybody your stories. I appreciate you.
I love you.
I love you. Everybody go follow Gabrielle and see what she's doing in her life because she's talented and amazing. Love you, babe.
Love you, babe. Thanks.
Thank
Everyone
you.
have fun. I'm so spooked by everyone else's stories. Bye.
Bye. Okay, y'all. That bruja, though, she was like a spiritual mentor. That was her spiritual mentor. Okay. Giselle stayed in a haunted hotel in France. Let's hear about it. Cooking with Giselle.
Yo.
Hi, beautiful. Oh my God, I love that lip color with the stripes.
You know what somebody told me
glasses.
today? That I look very Beetlejuice.
I wore my Beetlejuice pants last episode. I didn't get to post it because my video glitched and disappeared. But oh my God, what if we were wearing the same thing? You guys, this is my friend Giselle. I want to tell the story of how we met and everything, but that's going to take way too long because right now it's about ghost stories. We'll do that another time because that's also a really great story too. But let's jump in. I remember you told me a little bit of the story when we met. So let's just jump right in. Tell everybody what happened.
Okay, so number one, I'm the friend and the girl that doesn't go to funerals or anything or hospitals and things like that because I see stuff.
Ooh.
So I already know not to put myself there because I see and sometimes hear stuff. So we went, me and my husband, George, went to Paris to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. We actually flew into London and took the train to Paris. So when we got to the hotel, I had to quickly take a shower, blow dry my hair because we were going to go take pictures. You know, it's 10-year anniversary. We're in Paris, so we're going to go take pictures. And, you know, I'm Dominican. So I had to blow dry the hair and all that stuff. So George goes to change money outside of this hotel, which, by the way, that's the book of the hotel. Because I have to tell you.
Proof?
Thank you. So he says, I'm going to go change some money. And I said, I'm going to get in the shower, whatever. We had a beautiful room, which was totally favored by God. I mean, there was no way in hell I can afford that room. But it was the last one. And you know how I am. I was kissing everybody in the front desk and loving on everybody. And they were like, we're just going to give it to you for 100 euros more. And I'm like, deal. It's got 2 balconies. I'll take it. So I go into the bathroom, which has no windows. So picture this, no window. My blow dryer blew up. So I had
your personal one.
It just caught fire because when you plug it in and those things, it just, I don't know what it is with the electricity, blah, blah, blah. So I started to use the one that was attached to the wall.
With the spirally cord?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm stuck to this wall and I'm blow drying my hair and the cord is like less than a foot long. So I'm like literally stuck to this wall, blow drying my hair when I hear the doorknob go tuk, 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 like really loud. So I thought, maybe they came to bring our luggage, right? So I go out, and this particular hotel that we stayed in is a very old hotel.
So this is right when you just got there, because your luggage isn't even, this ghost was out the gate like,
I'm here.
Okay.
So this hotel is over 100 years old, and I honestly, you know, wanted to go there and feel like very Parisian. So I stayed away from American chains, and I wanted to experience the whole Parisian feel. So we stayed there, and the hotel, I didn't know this then, has a weird configuration. It has like one door when you come in, and then it has like a little hallway, and then another door that leads you into the suite. So I go out, and I'm like, hello? Like somebody.
You were that girl in the movie?
Yeah.
You were that girl? I'm by myself, but I heard something. Is anybody there? Hello?
That's what I did. I was like, hi, is somebody bringing my stuff? Empty hallway. So I go back in. I go back to blow drying my hair. And now I hear it even louder. So I'm like, yo, somebody is really like wiggling. So now I go every single balcony door. There was 6 balcony doors, and I start wiggling them to see if the sound sounds the same. So when I get to the front door, which is those 2 little double doors.
First of all, let's pause for appreciation of your investigative work, please. I'm going to listen for the correct jingle of the doorknob and find, thank you. That's the kind of investigation that I appreciate.
You know, I had to figure out where this was coming from. So I go to the front door that I had originally opened, and I wiggle it, and it sounds exactly like the sound. So I start to feel in my spirit, oh, there's something in here. So I said, hi, I'm Giselle. I swear to God, I'm Giselle. I'm here on a 10-year anniversary. And it's my first time in Paris. I don't know if you understand me or what's happening right now, but I'm a good girl and I'm not going to bother you. And it seems like you don't like the store closed. So I'm going to leave it open for you and stop touching it because you're freaking me out. So I was like, I'll respect your space. You respect mine. I just want to enjoy my time here. And I go back to the bathroom. This is me talking by myself in this room. I go back to the bathroom and I start blow drying my hair again. Mind you, it's hot, the blow dryer, there's no window, there's nothing in this little bathroom. When I'm blow drying my hair, this cold, I can't even explain to you, freezing cold air just goes right through my body. And then I heard a language I've never heard before. Like it spoke to me, and it was a male voice, and it went through my body. I felt the distance between the heat of the blow dryer and the cold air, like a wind. And then it just went, I felt the energy go through the wall. And so I'm like, yo, and it was almost like an acknowledgement, like, thank you for letting me know that you know I'm here. That's kind of like how I felt. It didn't make me feel scared. It just kind of was like, thanks for acknowledging me and leaving the door open. So George comes back upstairs. I'm like, babe, I got something to tell you. And he's like, what? I'm like, we got a ghost in the room. So he's like, no, we don't. You and your stories and your stuff. Right. I'm like, yes, we have a ghost in the room, and it doesn't like this door closed. So keep this door open. So he's like, whatever. Fast forward 4 days, we've been in Paris. I'm in the shower. We've had a little bit too much to drink. And George comes running in the room bathroom. Hey, I'm like, what? He goes, what's the door that he doesn't like closed? And I'm like, why? He goes, I was just laying with like this like little couch that they had. I was laying on the couch like this, and I heard the door jiggle. And I go, I told you he don't like that door. So that happens, no big deal. And it's our last day, and the hotel gives us a box of chocolate, a bottle of wine, and a nice little letter from the staff. Thank you for spending your anniversary with us. And they give us this book. So I opened just the first page, and the first page clearly says, the Lutetia is alive and spiritual. This 100-year-old hotel, you can feel the seduction of the eternal youth. It's cultivated with joy, spirituality, and something else, right? And then it says, you can, wait, I'm going to jump to the part where okay, this is what she wrote. At night, the spirits take over. Ooh. Okay? They wander through the empty reception rooms, absorbing finished conversations. He glides. She mentions he. I told you it was a dude. He glides through the entrance hall, scheming the sculptures of the Eiffel irons. On each level, he passes through the corridors and whispers what he has seen over the past 100 years. It turns out it used to be a rehab place for vets. Like people went to war or whatever, and it was a hospital. A section of it was a hospital. So I take this book and I show George, and I'm like, you told me I was making stuff up. And there you go, proof. And I saved it just because I want to tell folks.
Honey, so it says he whispers.
Yeah.
And you heard a whisper of a language that you didn't know. Was it French? And you didn't know
it
French?
Sounded like French. It was definitely with an accent, because it wasn't English. It sounded French, but it was really quick. I felt the cold air, and then it just came through me, and then I heard it really quick, and then I felt how it kind of went in the wall.
You read something in that book, a sentence that was so profound, it absorbs the finished conversations. Like, what does that even mean? Like, everything you say, like, he hears everything, like, and, like, takes it in, and that's what he whispered to you.
He must.
He's like, ooh, the last guy that was in here was cheating.
I definitely felt a male presence, for sure. And, you know, it might sound crazy to speak back to it, like when I did, but I knew something was in that room with me. You know that sensation you have when you're sleeping and somebody's hovering over you, looking at you, and you just kind of open an eye and you're like, yo, why are you staring at me? That's how I felt. Like there was something in there. And I'm telling you, it wiggled the door like 3 times until I was like, let me figure this out, what door this is. So I went through each one, and then I go, oh, it's this door. And apparently he didn't like it because he didn't wiggle it anymore. Like to me, because I always kept it open. So it was just interesting. It's one of those things that you know for sure that we share this space with other stuff. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you so much for sharing this story. It's so cool, so creepy. I love it. I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you for jumping on.
It's been renovated. It looks amazing now.
Oh, really?
If anybody
Is this your plug for the hotel?
Yeah, if you guys want to experience a little scary stuff.
I love that. I love you, friend. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Yes, that was a good one. Okay, so these are people who left me comments. Ashy Rose, Ashie Rose, stayed at Ohio State Psych Ward. Let's look for Ashy Rose. ASH. Yeah, it's not coming up. Ashy Rose, can you please leave me a comment because I'm searching for you? Leave me a comment if you're here. And if not, I'm moving on to Miss Javi or Javi, maybe. I don't know if you're Spanish. Miss Javi or Miss Javi. Let's see who is available. Oh, MISS, is it? MISS. Yeah, that's not coming up. We might have lost her. Oh, Miss Dot Javi. Miss Dot Javi. I don't see her either. So, Miss Javi or Javi, if you're on, leave me a comment. Also, the other person that I said, leave me a comment. So, moving on to the next one. Mario Bowie. Daughter sees things. Is this a Vedijiki person? Okay. Let me see her. Let me spell that.
Ashley Rose isn't here.
Okay, Ashy Rose. Can you request Ashy Rose? Because it's not letting me
Ashley
find
Rose
you.
and Miss Javi say they're both there.
That's so weird. I can't find you. So both of you guys exit out of the chat and request me. Or maybe leave me a comment and see if I can tap on you.
They say they're commenting. ASHIEE.
I don't. Oh, there's Ashy Rose. Hide live video. No. Pin comment. Go live with Ashy Rose. There you are. Okay. Go live. That's great. That's a better way to do it. So I'll tell people to leave me a comment so I can see them and just tap on their face. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So listen, we're going to jump right into your story. Yours, let's just jump right in. You go ahead and set it up and take it away.
Okay. So maybe 4 years ago, there was a few of us that went to the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield. It's
reformatory, real quick, because I feel like I'm dumb. What's a reformatory?
It's a jail. Okay. So basically, do you know the movie Shawshank Redemption?
Uh-huh.
That movie was filmed there at this prison. It was the all-male prison.
Oh.
It was the all-male prison. It's one of the most deadly in the United States. So we went there for a specific event that was taking place. But during this event, we got to go off on our own. So me and my friend that went, we went into solitary confinement, which is all the way in the basement. And
just you and a friend, let's leave this door. Let's just me and you. Let's do our own thing.
So and we went into solitary confinement because we knew that was one of the most haunted spots of the prison. And another thing was that we started having experiences up in on the east cell block. So we were maybe we can get it to continue to happen in other parts of the prison. So we went to solitary confinement. And it's just me and her. And now the way that solitary confinement goes is it's like a big lowercase n, basically. It's like just blocks, like cell blocks. And you go down the first row and there's all these doors lined up. And then out on the other side is just a solid wall. Well, we're standing there. And I'm up against one door and my friend's up against the wall on the other side, but she's like all the way down at the corner. Mm-hmm. And you know how like your eye is in like pure darkness, they take a minute to adjust, but they eventually do. So you can see people, you can see if anyone's next to you, you can feel it, that type of thing. Well, I'm standing up against the door because she's telling me that she's got issues going on with her down there. So I'm just being quiet, hoping that she can continue to get the activity to continue with her. Well, I'm standing there and we're the only two in there. Everyone else is like 3 floors up. Yeah. So we're the only ones in there. And I feel fingers go down my spine.
No. Like
Yeah.
just like tracing your
Yes,
spine?
like just trace my spine. And I was like, what is this? So I turn around and that's when I realized that I'm up against the door. At this whole time though, I had no idea I was up against the door.
Ooh.
And so I turned around like this and I'm like, what in God's name? So, and I feel the fingers and I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking it's just, you know, whatever. And so I wait a little bit. I didn't think anything of it. It happens again. The 2 fingers go down my spine again. And I'm like, what is this? So I turn around and that's when I look, there's that like little, like, there's that door that where they like put the tray in when you're in solitary confinement.
Yes.
For, like, the lunch.
Yes.
You know? So yeah. So I was like, what is this? And I go like this up, you know, to touch it to see if it goes through, like if you can push through your fingers. It won't open. It's like shut, like I don't know if it's like glued shut, if it's painted shut. The door don't even open. And then the kicker to the whole thing though is as we go through, I left that area because I was like, I'm not dealing with this. I know I'm a female and I'm in an all male prison. I know that I'm gonna get activity because I'm a female.
Ghost assault is real.
Right. So I go and I leave and I go back upstairs and I'm like, this is creepy. So I start to like freak out because I can tense things. I can like sense things as well. So I start to freak out and I go outside and my back's burning and I'm like, what is going on? My friend lifts up my shirt and there's like 3 scratches down the middle of my back.
Shut your mouth.
Like not like curved. We're like, you know, like if we scratch ourselves, we have like a curve to our nail.
Sure.
This is straight down.
First of all, when you were feeling it, did it just feel like pressure or like skin? Like what did you feel scratch?
No, that was the whole thing. Is like, you know, when someone comes up to you and they like run their fingers down, like this part of your finger, like just down your skin or something.
Okay.
Like feel something, like when you have someone like feel a bruise or you have someone feel a bump. You know you use that part of your finger? That's what I felt touch me. So I didn't feel a scratch. I didn't feel anything like that. That's all I felt was like the tips of the fingers. And I was like, okay. And when I felt the burning, I'm like, this can't happen. This is not happening. Because I had been attacked before, so I know what that feels like. And I'm like, this is not happening. And it was. There was 3 scratches straight down my back.
Henny, that's insane.
Yeah.
First of all, the fact that you had been attacked before and then you still went into solitary confinement at a reformatory, you are brave. Because you will never hear me say, and then I got attacked again. Like, you will hear me say, I got attacked one time, and that's the end of the story. Yeah. But you'll never hear me say, and then the second time, nah.
Yeah. Yeah. It happened again because I was like, this is not happening. Because I was like, I'm done with the first one. Like, the first one was enough. The second attack was... The first attack was worse than this one. The first one was horrible. But
hey, people are commenting. Did you take a picture of your back of the scratches? Do you have any picture? I
did, but I'll have to find it. But I did, yeah. My friend took it. She was like, you have to see this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
DM it to me when you find it.
I will.
Honey, thank you so much for sharing that story. That's incredible. I think next time we do an episode of these, I would love to hear your first attack.
Yeah.
If it's not too traumatic to relive.
It's not. If it happened when I was younger. So if this happened like a couple years ago, we might have an issue. But this happened quite a few years ago. So I'm over that.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. I'm glad it worked.
Bye.
Bye.
That is insane. Like, to have the scratches on your back. Have you seen anything like that in your seeing of things?
I've heard of things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of it and like throwing up. I've heard, well, because I watch, what is it? Bonzo, get over here. You trying to get eaten by Yodi? I'm sorry, I'm also on mom duty. Bonzo. We live out here in the forest, so he can't be drifting too far because them Yodis be on the prowl. Come here, Bonzo. Come say hi to everyone. Thank you. Okay, we are going to go to our next story. This is from Miss Javi, or Javi. We'll find out in a second. Hey, can you leave me a comment, Miss Javi, Miss Javi, so I can just tap on your name? Because that seems to be what works best in these Instagram lives. Then we're gonna go to Mario L. Bowie and Auntie St. Clair. Hi, Bonzo. Everybody's saying hi to you. Bonzo. Everybody's saying hi to you. Miss Hobby, leave me a comment. Oh, there you are. Okay. What is Miss Hobby's? That's weird. It won't let me go live with you. It just gives me the option to hide the video from her or pin her comment. There it is. Go live. Okay. Here we go. Hello.
Hi.
Is it Javi or Javi? How do you say your screen name?
It's Javi. I am definitely brown.
Okay. And I am definitely super white. You guys, Miss Javi is next. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Let's just jump right in because it's
Okay.
already 7:21. I was trying to keep this at 1 hour for everyone. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So let's just jump right into your story.
Okay.
Tell us.
So I worked at a funeral home for a while. This funeral home was built in 1950, so it was just creepy overall. You always felt heaviness in the air when you were there. You always felt like someone was watching you. But I didn't believe in ghosts, so I just did my thing and worked there. One day.
Okay, let's talk about you not believing in ghosts real quick. So is it because like you've never experienced, but you've seen ghost stories, movies, and you still were like, that's fake?
Yeah, I guess I never had proof, and now I do.
Okay.
So.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so I was working there, and what I was doing, I was moving stuff from the front desk over to the storage room. So I was just walking back and forth, moving materials back and forth. In between the front desk and the storage room is the lobby. So one time when I was walking by the front desk to the storage, I saw in the lobby a man sitting on a chair. And I saw clearly it was a bald Hispanic man reading a book in a black suit. So I stopped and I went to talk to this man because I thought it was one of the funeral directors and I had a question. So I turn around, I look at this man again, and he's gone. So I go over to the front desk to ask my coworker if this funeral director was supposed to be working there today. She said, no, he's actually out of town, so I don't know how you saw him. And so this coworker of mine mentioned that she's seen this ghost all the time at our funeral home. So I asked her to describe the ghost. And she said it was a bald man who was Hispanic, who wore a black suit, reading a book on a chair. So I asked her which chair. And then she pointed to the chair that I saw him at.
His chair.
His chair.
Which chair? His chair. That's the one.
And so I was still not believing in ghosts, and I tried to say, well, it was, yeah. I thought it was the reflection of the window, or I was just imagining things, or whatever, in denial.
Okay.
And so I was making fun of the ghosts, I don't believe in any ghosts, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. And then the day goes by, it's nighttime, my coworker left, so I'm all alone, locking up the whole building by myself. And
well, I guess it's fine for you because you don't believe in ghosts. You're
exactly,
like, whatever,
yeah.
It's fine. I'll be by myself. Lights off. What? Let's do this.
And so I went to turn off the lights in the hallway that led to the storage room, and the light bulb at the end of the hallway exploded. And so, sparks everywhere, glass on the ground, everything.
Okay, pause. So you're turning out lights. Is it like one by one, or you do like one switch and then all the lights turn off?
It's just one switch and they all turn off.
Okay, so you did the switch, they all turn off, and that one explodes.
Mm-hmm. So I play with the lights a little bit to make sure it's completely all busted out, and it's not working. It's gone. So I sit there and I think to myself, am I gonna go clean it up? No, they don't pay me enough for that. So I just went home.
Hell no. Bye.
So then I text my boss. I tell him, hey, this light is busted. We need to fix it. So he tells me to fix it the following morning. So that next day comes and I go over to clean up the mess and there's nothing there. And I turn on the lights to see if they're working, and all the light bulbs are completely fine.
Shut your mouth. And nobody has been in the building after you or anything?
No, I open and close, so it's just me.
Dang. So are you a believer now?
Yeah, I don't know if you have time for another story, but there was a shadow person that I saw in that same building.
Tell me about the shadow person. Okay. Tell me, I mean, now that we know you're a believer now that we know you're on our team, tell me about this shadow person.
Okay, so I was working at the front desk and I was on my own, closing up everything. I was ready to go and I stand up from my desk and I feel someone watching me. So I think it's a customer that's there trying
Wait, hold on. Is this before or after light bulb incident?
Oh, after.
After. Okay, so you're aware now. Now you know, okay, that's a real ghost in here. I am not alone. And now I'm going to rethink this closing up by myself situation, but that's fine. That's for another day. I'm going to ask for a raise, all that stuff. Okay, so you're aware there's a ghost. You're sitting at your desk. You feel somebody watching you. Continue.
Okay, so I turn around to see who it was, and it's this giant shadow that looks like a person. So I see the head, the shoulders, the torso, the complete outline, but it's just a giant shadow.
What? Like, where is it to you?
It's right in front of me. There's a desk between us, but it's right in front of me.
Like, so you're in front of your desk, and there's another desk in front of you.
Oh no,
like cubicle space?
I'm behind my work desk, and then this thing is in front of the work desk.
Oh, okay. So you see the shadow, and then what?
So I can tell it's looking at me and facing me, even though it doesn't have any eyes, and that felt really malicious. Like it actually felt like it wanted to hurt me, and it was pretty like it was angry. It was
What'd
really
you say?
angry.
What'd you do?
I just pretended it wasn't there, and I tried to blink it away. You know, tried to pretend it wasn't there.
Hey, when in doubt, blink it away, y'all. Hey, if you come in contact with a demonic spirit, y'all, give it a couple blinks. Gone. Hey, if you're blinking on point, you don't got nothing to worry about in no demonic situation. Just give it a couple. These gone.
But it worked. It went
what,
away.
You thought you was gonna scare me? Okay. So wait, it's in front of you. You blink it away, and then what happened?
It disappeared right in front of my face. It was just gone.
Oh hell no! So the blinking does work then. There you go. Look at you. A real life demon caster outer. You didn't need no holy water. You didn't need a Bible. Just gave it that 1-2. Okay, do you still work there?
No.
Did you quit right after that?
I was already in the process of quitting, so it was my 2 weeks by then. So maybe I was just angry that I was leaving.
Yeah, maybe he was like, "Girl, you was my girl. What happened?" Like I did fireworks for you. I did that explosion of the light bulb for you. I was like, "This is my love for you, girl." And you didn't respect that. You didn't. I even cleaned up. You didn't have to clean up for me. I did it for you. That's how much I love you. I'd be showing you my love and a spark, and then I clean up my mess. And now you're gonna leave me? And he was mad. That's why he was staring you down. Like, nah, you ain't going nowhere. That's a great story.
Thanks.
Miss Hobby, thank you so much for joining us. I really enjoyed your story. And I hope there are no ghosts wherever you work now. I hope you're ghost free. Okay? Stay ghost free.
Thanks.
For all of us. We need you. But again, your blink game is strong. So you got this. Have a good night. Bye. Okay. That was a great story. Okay. Yeah. We're going to close. Okay, so it's 7:30 now. We had Mario and Aunt Sinclair or somebody. Let's just take those last two, and maybe they're short. Mario, leave me a comment if you're here.
Ouija board at church.
Oh yeah, the Ouija board at church. Which one's that? Anton St. Clair. Are you here, Anton St. Clair?
And Mario's daughter sees things.
Anton St. Clair. If you're here, leave me a comment because I want to hear about the Ouija board at church camp. Bogza was not interested in that last story. I don't see a comment from them. I don't think they're here. Huh? We'll end it real soon. Okay. So, the St. Clair, the person with the Ouija board at church camp. If you're here, leave me a comment. If not, we moving on, girl. Yes, at church camp. That's what they said. They did Ouija board at church camp and changed their life. She said she's still here. Where? I don't see her. Give me a comment, please, if you're here. Mariel's daughter sees things. Okay, Mariel's daughter. Oh, there she is. Okay. Here we go. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello. How do you say your screen name?
It's anti-Insta, Claire.
Hilarious. I was like, Aunt St. Clair. Like, I thought you were somebody's anti-Insta, but
Just trying to keep you
I'll go
guessing.
live just this one time. Got it. Okay. Tell me, you did a Ouija board at church camp.
Yes.
Let's jump right in.
Was not my idea. I had no idea it was coming. So it was in high school, and I think I was of confirmation age, so 15, 16 years old. And
So this is Catholic church camp.
yes, it is. And
Okay.
In
I
Fremont,
didn't know
actually.
Catholics do church camp too. Interesting.
So somebody brought a Ouija board, and we were actually having a 24-hour food fast. Yeah, so it's a food fast, like fundraiser.
This gets creepier and creepier.
So we're spending the night. We're spending the night in the multi-purpose room. It's got a stage. It's got a gymnasium, basketball hoops, or whatever. We all brought our sleeping bags, and we're all going to sleep on the gym floor. But behind the stage, somebody brought a Ouija board. So we would take turns in small groups so that, you know, our youth coordinator wouldn't notice we were all gone, to go back there and then jump on the Ouija board. So I don't know who brought it. I don't know who started it, but I watched for a little while.
Wait a minute, you don't know who brought it? It just
One of
appeared?
the kids. One of the kids brought it.
Okay. I was adding details. I was getting creative. Okay,
Yeah,
continue.
because there were maybe 50 to 60 kids or so there. So, and I didn't know all of them. We were not all from the same high school, but we all went to church together. So, I watched for a little while. They were asking, like, you know, little questions like, is there a ghost here? What's your name? And little yes or no answers. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, whatever. And then I got on the board and somebody else was asking questions, and it asked, we kept asking for spirits if they were there. And then finally something said yes. And so it said yes. And we said, what's your name? And it started to spell out a name, and it spelled out Donna, and then it gave an initial, and there was nobody there named Donna. And then it asked, well, where are you from? Or where are you from? And it said hell. It spelled out hell.
No,
so
thank you.
That freaked me out a little bit. And then when I thought about it, the only Donna who's with that initial that I knew was a girl from my 8th grade class years ago who had committed suicide. And I was the only one on the board who was from my junior high, because we were all from different high schools.
Sad.
So nobody else immediately in that room recognized that name except for me, but I didn't say anything because that was starting to freak me out. So I got off the board and I let somebody else get on the board to watch, to participate. So I watched. And other people were asking other stupid questions. And I just kept thinking about this in my head, and I was a little bit freaked out. And then somebody asked the question, who is going to be the first in the room to die?
Rude! Don't ever ask that question.
Right? Not cool. So it started to spell a name.
Girl, I did not spell your name.
Not mine. No, it spelled the name Jeff. And there were 2 Jeffs there. And it said, so we asked which Jeff. And it said Jeff R. And we had a Jeff R and a Jeff B. Jeff R, he's brown, Filipino, like me, turned super pale and white and was freaked out about it. And then he was like, no. And he started to back away, freaking out. And then I went with him. We left the room and I said, it's a game. It totally doesn't make sense. It's not true. Oh, but before we left, it asked how he would die. And it said it spelled out by the lights. So we didn't know what to do with that. He started freaking out. We left the room and I said, it's not real. It doesn't make sense. Although in my head, I was like, how did it know about Donna? You know, and
right.
So we walk over
Poor
to
Jeff R. Somebody said.
he was having a hard time. So we went over to our sleeping bags and we sat down. I was still trying to calm him down. We were talking him through it. And I was like, dude, it's just a game. People were playing basketball. It was room full, hella kids. Our coordinators were there. The lights are on. I was like, there's nothing to be afraid of. You know, we're to be together the whole night. Don't worry about it. Somebody's playing basketball. And because it's a gymnasium, the big like lights that they have, they're protected by a cage. So that if a basketball bumps up and hits it, nothing will happen.
Right.
Basketball came and hit one of the lights that was by our sleeping bag. And the light in it that's protected by this metal cage shatters on the sleeping bag right behind us. And we jump up and scream and start running. And we ran to our youth coordinator who's in the kitchen. We told him they are playing with the Ouija board behind.
You're like, confession.
Yeah.
We did Ouija board. My bad. I know I should have done it, but now
it got all
demons
shut
trying to get
down.
me.
Yeah, it was taken away. And that was the end of that. Well, we spent the night. I don't know how well he slept that night. I had one eye open the whole night. And then the next morning we finished it off with mass. And above the altar of our church,
Then we finish it with mass.
Yeah. The entire, at that time, altar had a huge light fixture that covered the entire altar. So when
Jeff dies on this trip,
when we were going up for communion, he started to walk down the aisle and then he turned around and ran out the church. And that was the end of that. I talked to Jeff B, who was there that night.
The safe one.
Yeah, years later. And he and Jeff R went to the same high school together. I didn't go to high school with them. And he said that he never spoke about it or wanted to speak about it whenever he brought it up or somebody else brought it up to him. And it stayed with me forever. I've told my children, I've never played with the Ouija board.
Never.
I've never allowed them, to do that. And I won't ever do it again either. That was just way too much.
Okay, these are some of my takeaways right now. First of all, is Jeff still alive?
As far as I know, I think our circles got wider and wider.
We need to know if Jeff is still alive.
I will find that out. I will find that out and let you know.
We need to know if Jeff is still alive or if anybody else in the group has died, because we need to know if that spirit was right and Jeff is the first to go or not.
Okay.
We need to know that. This is my other takeaways. It's interesting to know that there's game night in hell, that spirits get to show up to play Ouija board. Yes. That's positive news.
Right.
For those that are going down, you get game night. Okay.
True.
And then I want to know who actually brought the Ouija board. Like, who was like, yo, Catholic church camp, let's go.
There were hella kids, so there's no way for me to know who brought it. I do know that somebody had an idea of how to use it, because after each session, they took a cloth, they said this little thing or whatever and wiped away the spirit so that spirits couldn't enter, like whatever. I don't know. But every time we got on and off, they said, you need to take this cloth, wipe the board and say these things so that it doesn't come and follow you. So somebody had an idea of what they were doing, or I don't know, made stuff on the fly.
I can't believe that they sell Ouija boards at Toys R Us was a store.
Right.
They would sell Ouija board at Toys R Us. Just like, what do you want? Do you want checkers, Connect Four, Ouija board? Like, what?
I would never buy that or participate in it or let my kids do it ever.
I have personally never done a Ouija board. I think one time it was out in front of me, but I don't even know if that was true or I'm remembering a movie that I saw one time. I don't think I've ever done a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Erica, have you ever?
Oh, yeah.
You've done Ouija board?
Oh, a bunch of times.
And did you see things?
I was never totally sure if somebody was pushing the thing or if it was really moving. So I never knew if it was real.
Did it tell you anything that you're all, oh shoot, Donna?
No.
You know.
But I was walking down the street in New York City one time, and a psychic sitting on a street corner started yelling all these things about my life, and she definitely knew things about my life.
Wow. Oh, okay. So that was separate psychic situation, not Ouija board situation. Okay. Thank you for that story. Thank you for contributing to that story. It's a really good one. Okay. Miss Javi, right? That's who I'm talking to. I get all my names mixed up.
Anti-Instaclair.
So,
Anti-Instaclair.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Miss Javi, that was the girl earlier. Anti-Insta-Claire. So Claire is your name.
yes.
Claire, thank you so much. You said you're Filipino.
Mhm.
Uy, thank you for coming. Uy, mahal kita.
Oh,
Okay.
mahal kita.
Thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate you. Say your prayers before you go to bed,
Well,
so you don't get visited by Donna again. And let's all tonight say a prayer for Jeff. Hashtag find Jeff
I'm gonna find
2020. Somebody said.
I'm gonna find Jeff.
Somebody said hashtag find Jeff 2020. Another person said, I'm about to eat a whole thing of sage right now. Oh, that's hilarious. Thank you so much. Have a great night and no more Ouija boards. Okay?
Thanks for letting me share.
Bye.
Bye.
Find Jeff R.
That's funny.
That's so funny. You guys, this was so fun. I love this. Do you want to do it again? Should we like make it like a regular thing and like do it? I gotta figure out this like when it's live and the names don't come up. I think them leaving a comment helps because I could see and tap on it, because then I resort to picking names that I have not vetted and I don't know their story.
And they should DM you their stories for next week.
Yeah, they do. They send me their stories and I go, yes, I'll pick you. And then I go live and I go, where are you? And then they're not here. So, okay, that's how it's going to work. Next time you guys are going to leave me a comment and I'm going to tap on your comment and go live with you, because apparently that's a thing that works. Look at that. Okay. Thank you guys for joining. Do it in the dark with a fire pit going. See, that's my mom, you guys, leaving comments. That's my mom giving me notes in the comment section. The thing about that is it's so late on the East Coast that if I wait till it's dark, the sun sets here at 8 o'clock. So by that time, what is that, 11? It's 11 p.m. That's super late on the East Coast. But I do have the fire going. It's right there. It's just still daylight. Thank you guys so much. If you have a ghost story that you would like to share, excuse me, my tequila's giving me the burps. If you have a ghost story that you would like to share, I'm going to save this video and hopefully it does not glitch again and it actually uploads. Leave me a comment. Tell me what your story was that you want to come on live and share with everyone, and we will do it. Okay? Thank you guys so much for joining Ghost Stories with Anjelah. I'm your host, Anjelah. Thank you so much. Signing off. Bye-bye. Say bye, band. Bye. Say bye to everyone. Say bye to everyone. Oh, he doesn't care. All right. Bye, you guys. Thanks again.